welcome to the Redevelopment Commission meeting on September 5th of 2023. First item on the agenda is roll call.
Deb Hutton here.
Deborah Myerson here.
Cindy Canarney here. Staff present.
Holly Warren, Interim Director of Economic and Sustainable Development and Assistant Director for the Arts here.
Christina Finley, Hand Department. Colleen Newbill, Legal.
John Zodi with the Hand Department.
Deb Coons with JS Health.
OA10, City Engineering.
All right, next item on the agenda is reading of the minutes for August 21st, 2023. Do any commissioners have any comments or questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Deb Hutton, I move to approve the claims for September 1st, 2023.
Or the minutes.
Minutes? Oh, sorry. Minutes for August 21st, 2023. I'm just skipping right down.
I'll second this motion for the minutes.
All right, we have a first and a second. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? No. Next item is examination of claims for September 1st, 2023 for $826,232.39. Do any commissioners have any comments or questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve examination of claims from September 1st, 2023.
Deb Hutton, second.
Go first and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, next item is examination of payroll registers for August 25th, 2023 for $37,491.59. Any commissioners have any comments or questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Deb Hutton, I make a motion to approve the payroll register for August 25th, 2023.
Deborah Myerson, I'll second.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? No. Okay. Next item on the agenda is report of officers and committees. Is there a director's report?
There is. Thank you, everyone. Sorry I'm not there in person tonight. My report for you tonight is more logistical. I need to sort of share with you some of the things that are coming up on the calendar. As a staff team, we've been sort of trying to plan out what we think we want to bring to you for the next few months. And there's a lot between Hopewell and the Trades District activity over the next month or two. Excuse me. We wanted to sort of offer for your consideration the idea of doing some work sessions in the next couple of weeks, and there might be a need for a special session at the RDC prior to October 1st, and I'll let John Fernandez or Holly Warren speak to that more specifically. But we have a lot going on with Hopewell in terms of our expenses for project review form on security decisions, whether we make demolition decisions on buildings, and Deb Coons will offer some of those updates tonight. We also have the transfer of the property coming up. On the Trades District side, all of you are familiar with the deadline by the Economic Development Administration, and so September is going to be very busy as well as October, and so I'd like to, however you'd like to handle it, President Canarney, maybe throw out some dates for work sessions. We've laid out a couple based on staff availability. We haven't talked to any of you yet, obviously. And then maybe look at getting that special session on the books due to a deadline. So I'll stop there. I do think we need to, I might recommend that we come to some consensus on that tonight, maybe even map out a date or two if we can, because the first one that I have mapped out was next week, next Tuesday actually, and then thereafter for about 8 days. There are some dates over those times. So that's the extent of my report. I'll leave it there, but I do, before we adjourn, if we could maybe circle back on those two things and talk about them however you'd like to. I think it'd be a good idea tonight.
So could I just ask the commissioners for availability for Tuesday, September the 12th at 5, John?
Yeah, I've got I've got 4 dates laid out based on what I gathered to be staff availability. I'm happy to go through those if you'd like right now. And
yeah, why don't you go ahead and throw those out there?
Before we do that, could you please clarify if these would be, like, are we going to be voting in these sessions? Do we need to be, could these be on Zoom, or do we have to be here physically? What are the rules around that?
Yeah. I'm gonna ask Colleen about the virtual, Sarah, but they do require a 48-hour notice, and quorum does not need to be present. These are work sessions that are publicly noticed. There's no official business done. It is an opportunity to talk through issues and ask questions and sort of get a lot of that prepared. Colleen, could you tell us whether those can be done all virtually or whether they need to be done in person?
I believe if quorum doesn't have to be met, they can be done virtually, but I will look up and jump back in once I have that confirmed.
That's gonna very much, the answer to that question is going to determine a lot for me.
Okay. Well, the dates I had, and again, we can take these however you want. I had September 12th at noon or 5 p.m. And I was counting on about an hour. September 14th at 4 or 5 p.m. September 19th at 4 or 5 p.m. And then September 20th at noon. Those are the sort of 4 or so dates and times we had sort of mapped out.
So John, we're only interested in one of those, right? Or we're not talking about, you know, each of we don't need 4 work sessions, we just need one.
That's correct. At most, maybe 2, and I might defer to Deb or John Fernandez or Holly if they think we need more than 1 work session, but right now we're talking about at least 1, not 4.
Okay, well, we'll let everybody kind of check their calendars and we'll circle back under a general discussion at the end to see if there's a consensus.
Could you tell me the
Alright.
time again on the 14th? The times?
Yeah, why don't I put the dates, it's okay, I'll put the dates and times in the chat, that way
Super.
you got it on there, and then we can go from there when we, in the meeting. And then, while we're looking at calendars for the special session, John and Holly chime in, but we might need to do that September 26th or 27th, and timing is a consideration there due to the council budget hearing on Wednesday the 27th, but the 26th or 27th is when we had a special session laid out, so I'll let those 2 comment if they think anything different there.
No, I think the timing on either of those dates is fine with me. I think John and I agree that if we were to do it on September 27th, because that is the night of budget hearing for council, we would recommend that we do that meeting at 4:30 p.m. So that would be Wednesday, September 27th at 4:30 p.m. We might be able to be a little more flexible with time on September 26th, which is a Tuesday. And I also, just to jump back up quickly to the working sessions, I would recommend that we try to schedule at least 2. I think just so we have those on the books, acknowledging if we don't need the second one, that we can just X that one out. But just in case we do find, as we're coming kind of like down to this be-all, end-all date of October 12th, it might just be good to have one just in case we need it.
Oh, can you pull up the chat again so I can see that? Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Oh, no.
And John, can you put the special session recommendation, dates and times in the chat as well?
Sure, so Holly, I think you said September 26th, we go pretty flexible there.
Correct.
At 4 or 5, and then on
Yes.
September 27th, we recommend 4:30, right?
Correct,
For
yes.
budget hearing.
Yes.
Okay, we'll give everybody a chance to look at those and let's move on. Is there anything else in your director's report?
Only that, pardon me, Madam President, just a second, I'm just making sure you guys all have this, sorry. Just that the hand department presented our budget to the city council last week on Wednesday, and we'll look forward to council questions this week, so that's it.
All right, thank you. Is there a legal report?
Yes, well, kind of. So at the last RDC meeting, we discussed the CVU MOU for the stormwater. That contract has not been finalized yet, so that means, once again, I apologize, we will need to postpone resolution 2357 on the CCRs. My recommendation would be that we postpone that indefinitely until we can put both of them on the agenda. Additionally, and I don't know if this is the appropriate place to put it or if you would like me to address it more when we talk about the green roof infrastructure, it was requested at the last meeting that I find the resolution where the green roof was approved. And I believe that was resolution 2066, which was signed on September 24th, 2020. It's discussed in the exhibit B of the preliminary plans.
Thank you.
And then happy to answer any questions as well.
And then you're looking for the answer?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, is there a treasurer's report?
Controller Underwood is out, so I don't believe there's anyone from the controller's office on tonight.
Okay, so moving on, is there business development updates?
Sure. I just want to run you through a few specific dates as we're barreling towards this October 12th, ready to construct deadline for the tech center. So the bid package for construction contractors to be able to bid on doing the project went live last week. Thanks so much to Colleen for all of her amazing work on that. The bidding section will be open until September 26th. We will have a meeting on the morning of September 26th to open those bids and just see where we are and hopefully make our preliminary decision on who we'd like to go with. The reason why we are requesting a special section on either the 26th or the 27th is because what we're pretty immediately going to have to do is send to the EDA a commitment to funding for the project. And we need to do that before the October 2nd regularly scheduled RDC meeting, because we don't know if the government is going to shut down on the 30th. So we just want to make sure that we've got all the information that we need to have to them on the 30th so they can move forward to approve the contractor that we recommend for the project in time to get that information back to them so we can present that contract to you on October 2nd for sign off. So again, hot dates are looking at the bid on the 26th, either working with you all on the 26th or the 27th to confirm that we are committing to the funds to share with the EDA, and then the EDA will say, yes, this is great, we like this contractor, we like that you have approved this funding, and then we will bring you that contract that the EDA has signed off on for the October 2nd budget for you to approve. And from there, we will go and we will break ground. And John, feel free to add anything there. That's what I've got.
No, I think you've covered it perfectly, Holly. I mean, it's kind of a contingency plan to, get everything done that we need to get done, because no one can really predict what's going to happen in Washington, but a shutdown is likely.
So question, if the government does shut down on the 30th and the EDA is not able to respond,
So
how does that work?
So our hope is that if you give us the sign off to the commitment to funding, we will immediately shoot all of the information that the EDA requires of us, including that commitment letter. And they have told us if we can get it to them the week of the 26th, that they will be able to send us back the approval before the 30th, which is the last date of their fiscal year that they know they will be open and operating.
Perfect. All right.
And Cindy, if I can pipe in, apologies. I just want to say that, Colleen and Chaz have done a really good job staying very close to the project engineer that has to approve everything related to this particular project. So and I've talked to them a few times myself, but Colleen and Chaz have really stayed very close to the team in Chicago. They're well aware of where we're at in the process, and I'm very confident they'll turn around our information quite quickly because they know it's coming.
All right, thank you. Next item is any Hopewell update.
May I jump in real quick, President Canardi? I apologize, Deb. Sort of a logistical. Does anyone drive a silver, newer Honda CRV in the parking lot?
Yeah. Wow.
Who is that?
Deborah Myerson.
Can I talk to you,
I think it
Deborah?
might have been hit, Deborah. You might want to step out. I think it might have been hit in the parking lot. I'm sorry to interject in the meeting here, but I know no one will want that to be.
Now or later or what?
You tell me.
What's that?
Well, I'm just trying
Yeah.
to figure out when I should excuse myself.
Yeah, I'll leave that to the meeting. I apologize. I didn't want to let it go and not have you know. So, I think one of our staff people is outside in the hallway. Maybe you want to
I'll step
exchange
out right
funds.
away. We still have a forum for voting.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good. You're good. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Life's unexpected.
Christina, could you, Deborah, make sure she connects with John?
Yes, John's in here, he's walking out with her.
Okay, thanks. I'm sorry for the interruption.
No, that's perfect. Deb?
On that note.
Yeah.
We have some general updates today regarding Hopewell. One is we have been anticipating for Hopewell West that the ALA vacation that's associated with the legacy hospital site would be going to council soon. Tentatively, we're looking at the first reading on September 20th and the second hearing on October 4th. So as expected, we thought that would start around mid-September, and that is coming. So just as an awareness for that. As John mentioned, we are anticipating some project review forum conversations that are coming up in regards to Phase 1E's construction contingency, site furnishings, contractor incentive. Tonight, you're going to hear a request about environmental and some environmental things that have come up. Engineering is going to be presenting that increase today, or that use of internal project review forms today. We also have the opportunity that's coming up with First Street to do some additional match for a federal funding increase. So that's on our conversation in the future for a work session. And then, of course, the property conveyances. I reported at your last meeting, the property conveyance, we are in the midst of the due diligence phase. And by in and around September 25th, we will have any final comments back to IU Health to be in compliance with the property conveyance and the site notification letter. So there's lots going on. Some of the things that you'll continue to hear about are security, which John will continue to lead up, the boarding up the core building as property conveyance happens, barricading the garage as property conveyance happens. So those are some of the things you've already heard us talk about several times and are in the project review form. Some of these others you haven't heard about recently, and so we want to make sure that we get into great detail at the right time for that. Secondly, thirdly, wanted to update you on the demolition packages for blocks 8, 9, and 10 as directed. We are seeking bids for that. We intend for those bids to come out in the next week or so. We're in coordination with Julie Martindale on that, and we anticipate that we will be hopefully receiving bids at your second meeting in October. So just know from a timing perspective, as we look at everything, that's when that will happen. We also, sticking with blocks 8, 9, and 10 for just a second, we do expect the valuation team to confirm that we do have viable proposals as part of the RFI process, and we are going to be seeking your approval soon, probably the next 30 to 60 days to go out with a public offering on blocks 8, 9, and 10. So that's very exciting, so that we can make that get that into its formal process. And at the same time that we are seeing some viable proposals on that, we also then are looking forward to a potential release for blocks 8, 1, 2, and 3, which is really the Phase 1 East area. And both of those things are all tied to real estate. So we hope very soon to be having a real estate conversation with the RDC, and that'll be part of the planning that we do in terms of upcoming meetings to make sure that we're doing our real estate conversations in the appropriate forum there. And then last but not least, I know Holly's here. She may want to touch on anything with the Arts Commission that relates to Phase 1 East and artwork. So Holly, is there anything that we want to report for the RDC on that?
I can just give a very brief update. So as part of Phase 1 of Hopewell, there is a 1% for the arts budget. So that just basically means that we get 1% of the city's construction budget to do something fun and artsy. So I have been working with members of the Bloomington Arts Commission Public Art Subcommittee and the landscape developer and members of the parks team here at the city to decide what type of art would best go where as part of that phase. So right now, the BAC is still trying to figure out what kind of art should it be? Should it be a sculpture that simply plops down somewhere? Should we try to do something with the lampposts that are already going to be there and do some kind of suspended art? Should we contribute to the kind of programming that will be happening on the stage there? We haven't made that decision yet. We are meeting later this month to kind of hone in on what kind of art we would like to see there. Once we hone in on that decision, we will take that recommendation to the RDC to make sure you approve of that. Once we get your sign off on that, we will then put together a call for artists, and we will say, hey artists, we want to see your proposals for this type of work. We'll form a committee to review those proposals, and then we will come to you with our final recommendations of which artwork we propose should go into there. And then from there, We will have your approval or not, and we'll go back to the drawing board, but hopefully we're ultimately hoping by the first half of 2024 to have selected an artist and being able to work with the contractors to make sure that as we are building out phase one, we are also providing the infrastructure for this piece of public art to be present in it. So it should be exciting and dynamic. We're really excited about what could happen there.
Do we have experience with, you know, kind of usable art?
I would say, in my experience of what's been done in the time I've been here, most of the art I've seen is not functional. You know, it is pretty. It recalls a specific history, right? So, for example, the 4th Street Garage, that is all about quilting and diversity within our community. Switchyard Park, the Hoosier Line North Star, is all about the history of the Underground Railroad here. So just something to look at and reflect upon with your community members, but nothing that is like a designing planter or seating or anything like that. I think what's great about this iteration of the Public Arts Subcommittee is they are very interested in usable design. So I think we can definitely talk about what we would want that to look like as part of this call for artists.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, anything else on Hopewell updates?
Not for me. I'm happy to answer questions.
All right, let's move on to new business. First item is resolution 23-57 to vacate covenants. So I think as recommended by legal, I would be happy to entertain a motion to permanently postpone.
Deb Hutton, also move.
And Sarah Bowerly Dansman, I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, moving on. Resolution 23-63, approval of MOU with CBU for green roof infrastructure. Who would like to talk to us about this?
Cindy, I'm happy to dive in on that. Hopefully the memo that I sent outlined and answers the questions that you all had regarding the estimated operating expenses for maintaining a vegetative roof. As I said in the memo, we're estimating the system that we think might win the bid would be potentially $5,100 a year. It really depends on what you plant. So if we went with low maintenance grass, not typical long grass, but grass, that would have an even lower cost. The packet that went out to the commission and the board included another system that could potentially be used as well. And that particular system actually has even a lower maintenance cost, more in the like 50 cents a square foot to 75 cents a square foot. So that would be, somewhere between 3,100 to closer to 6,000. It just depends on which system comes through the bidding process. But again, there's your maintenance costs. What we don't have a calculation for, and we can certainly report out after a year of operation, what we see is some of the benefits from an operating perspective as well, because one of the great advantages of a vegetative roof is that it keeps your building cool, so your other related utility costs will be lower. It's just a factor of how much we're not sure. I mean, there's some pretty good numbers that the national organizations put out, but they're for much larger kind of facilities, so I wouldn't want to use those numbers for a building of this size. But I'm happy to answer any questions, and hopefully with that, we're in a position to move forward with the MOU tonight.
All right, do any commissioners have any questions on resolution 23-63?
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to say thank you, John, for sending that additional information. It was very helpful. And thanks to Colleen Legal for finding out the date and the original resolution before my time. So I really appreciated knowing that history. My question is a sort of general philosophical one, since I love the greenness of it and it makes physical sense to do a green roof. Is the purpose of the green stuff, whether it's grass or pretty trees or flowers or anything, is it to be there as a green roof for the sake of the utility benefits? Or is it at the same time good for a putting green or a green patio for people to walk on and have a cocktail party on? I mean, is there a human use to it foreseen, or purely the environmental purposes for this building?
It is the latter. This system and most of these kinds of vegetated roof systems are not designed for engagement like a regular lawn. I mean, they have a big environmental purpose is not only to have a cooler building and bring down operating costs, but they're a major part of the stormwater detention system and retention system for this building. So rather than having to do a detention pond on site or have to do larger kind of underground retention as part of a larger stormwater system, the vegetated roof actually slows down the runoff, and it has that additional environmental benefit.
Yeah, I was
So rather than spending
sort of
yeah.
including those in all the environmental benefits, which are explicit and good. So I just wondered if there was a human activity purpose written into this particular proposal too.
No.
Okay, thanks.
All right, any other questions on resolution 23-63 from commissioners?
I don't have a question, but I just want to echo Deb's thanks to both John and to Colleen for providing that additional information. I think it's very helpful, and it's good as well to have it on the record for the public so that they understand what it is that we are doing, and understand as well that this is actually providing a way to fund something that the RDC has already committed to. So thank you very much for that.
So my question is, will John's memo be a part of the record? I want to make sure that it is.
We can attach it to the minutes.
Okay, all right, perfect. Is there any public comment? All right, not hearing any, I will entertain a motion for resolution 23-63.
Sarah Bowerly Dansman, I'll make a motion to approve resolution 23-63.
Deb Hutton, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No one opposed. Resolution passes. Next item on the agenda is resolution 23-68, agreement with AECOM for environmental services at Hopewell. Who'd like to speak to us regarding this?
Well, Roy Aiken with the City Engineering Department. What we've done, this is for the Hopewell Phase 1 East, and through the course of this whole project, there's been a lot of environmental firms that have come in and played, doing Phase 1, Phase 2 environmental assessments, kind of get an idea of what was there. The area has been very well used over the 100 years or so, so we really wanted to know what was there. What we were missing was this one gap between what everybody has looked at out there in all the environmental reports and everything, and then the final destination where we want to be with this project as a city. So kind of putting all that stuff together, all the environmental information, and really getting a consultant on board that specializes in that. That's the idea behind this AECOM. So we've gone out, we solicited 3 different firms. AECOM came back with the highest quality for a firm for us, so we wanted to go ahead and approve this contract with them to get them on board, and this will be a firm that works directly for the RDC for our best interest to get to the lots marketable at the end of the day. So.
All right, thank you. Questions from commissioners?
One question I had in the packet, there were in the agreement, all of the dates were highlighted, so I just wanted to make sure the dates that no later than December 31st, 2024, that was all highlighted. So I just wanted to make sure that those were correct. Wasn't sure why they were highlighted. So
This is probably our original agreement or our cover sheet.
okay.
That was that. We usually leave them highlighted and make sure that we look at them before we put them into the packet. So what you're seeing date-wise should be the reflected dates on all of those.
Okay, And you also said that you went out to you solicited bids from 3 different,
Yes, proposals.
proposals. So could you just tell us a little bit, sort of how you chose who to reach out to for those proposals?
Sure, the 3 proposals were VET out of Bloomington, Indiana, environmental firm. AECom was one, and then the third one was BCA. Help me out. BCA.
BCA.
Thank you, Deb. And then we received those 3. Then we reviewed them in the engineering department. I reviewed them, and also we sent down to our City of Bloomington Utilities Department has environmental staff on board that we also let them review them as well, so we can get their input as well. And then out of all of the reviews, we came back with AECom being the best for this service, and they have worked in the past with other redevelopments like this, and specifically one of our concerns is arsenic in the soil, naturally occurring, so it's not a man-made thing, but sometimes it exceeds the limits for residential, so they specialize in that specific thing, so they ended up being the best firm.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions from commissioners on resolution 23-68? Any comment from the public? Not hearing any, I'll entertain a motion on resolution 23-68.
Deb Hutton, I move to approve resolution 2368.
And Sarah Bowerly Dansman, I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
No one opposed? All right, resolution passes. Next resolution is resolution 23-69, approval of second amendment of agreement for security patrols at Hopewell Properties. Who would like to speak regarding this?
I'll take that one. John Zodi of the Hand Department. This is an agreement, a second amendment, as you can see, to extend our contract with Marshall Security Services through November 1st, which is 2 more months than our last extension. So on July 3rd, the RDC extended the security contract until September 1st. And so what we're asking you tonight is to extend that contract for another 2 months. We think that's a good length of time as we consider what expanded security scope, services scope might need to be considered for when the entire property is transferred over, and we think November is a good timeline there. So that would add an amount not to exceed of $20,000 on the project review form to reflect what's needed in this contract.
All right, do any commissioners have any comments or questions on resolution 23-69? Any comment from the public? Not hearing any, I'll entertain a motion on resolution 23-69.
Sarah Bowerly Dansman, I motion to approve resolution 23-69.
Deb Hutton, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No one opposed, resolution passes. Next item of business is any business general discussion, and we are gonna circle back to dates. Have the commissioners had a chance to review the dates listed, and do we have a consensus?
And I will let you know, I informed you correctly, you do have to have a majority of the people who are present in person. So if only 3 of you are going to be attending the work session, 2 of you would have to be here in person. If it was 4 of you, 2 of you. So I apologize for that, but it would still, at least half of you would have to be here present.
Okay.
So let me go first, only to say that I cannot do the 12th or the 14th, but I can do the 19th and 20th and 26th and 27th for the work sessions and the special session,
Okay.
in terms of those numbers.
I can be in person at noon on the 12th, which you can't be at. I can be remote at 5 that day, as well as 4 on the 14th. I can be the problem with all of this is that I'm going out of the country on the 19th, but I will be on a layover at 4 o'clock in the afternoon
Oh,
on the
gosh.
19th. So I could zoom in for that. I probably can't zoom in for the 5 o'clock, or I might be able to for a portion of it, but my flight leaves at 6:30, so that probably is gonna start boarding at 5:30. The 20th will be hard for me because I'll be, away. And also the 26th and the 27th, I will still be away and multiple time zones away, but I would be able to zoom in to those special sessions, but I won't be able to be there in person. Sorry.
What
So,
matches with you, Cindy?
I can be here on September 12th at 5 in person, and September 14th at 4 or 5 in person, and September 19th at 4 or 5 in person. Cannot do September 20th. And the special session, September 26th and 27th, I can make both of those work in person.
So it sounds like September 19th at 4 is a good place to start.
Because we can promise 2 live in person and 1, is
One remote at least.
that right?
September 19th for the first work session, 4 or 5?
At 4,
4.
only 4.
Okay.
But that doesn't really give us a second option though, cause
Right.
Yeah, I think we're gonna need to try for September 12th.
yeah, I think September 12th at 5, cause you can be there, Deb
I can
can't
be
be there.
remotely,
Okay,
yeah.
So you need a second person in person.
yeah, for
So
September
we
12th.
have
Yeah,
2 other people, so probably one of them will be able to do it.
so will you guys reach out to the other 2 commissioners and, okay. All right, at least we have a framework of tentative times that a couple folks will be available.
And then could I, so it looks like September 12th, excuse me, at 5, September 19th at 4, and then for the special session, was there a date, the 26th or 27th that's best that we landed on?
Do you have a preference, Sarah?
My preference would be the 27th, but I can make either work, and I appreciate everyone's flexibility.
I can do
I think we
either.
thought,
I can do either.
27th or 30.
Yeah, I can do either one in person.
Deb Hutton, are you able to do,
I can do either on the 26th or the 27th, all the possible times, whichever suits someone else.
it
Hey,
looks like
John, I
we
need to, unfortunately recant that statement. I can only do the 27th.
So 4:30 on the 27th seems like a date that works for the 3 of you,
Yeah,
right? And that's a quorum, we'll have to have quorum in that one, so, okay. Well, that gives us, something to work with,
Special
we'll get
then,
ahold
yeah.
of Commissioners Meyerson and Cassidy and see where we go from there.
All right, that sounds good. Any other general business discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Yep.
All right,
second.
good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks.